And I'm so glad to see that the city has made this one of its major priorities because there's going to be a tremendous need for going forward.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Hong Kong Science Park. Very delighted to have Professor John Kao, who really steers the biomedical technology ecosystem here at the Hong Kong Science Park. He's officially now the head of Institute for Translation Research. So welcome, Professor Kao.
Thank you, Arthur.
So speaking of biotech development, the government has emphasized for the very first time this year the development of health tech in its policy address. Well, it did designate biotech as one of the 4 key areas back in 2018, but this year it's special since there are some concrete steps for it, from establishing a mega research institute in the loop to optimizing the clinical trial procedures. How did Science Park get involved in the process? What have been done and what will be done, Professor?
Well, first of all, Science Park, we're very happy to feel that the government has put a priority in biotech for the future of Hong Kong. And for the past 20 years, Science Park has been working diligently on grooming this biotech ecosystem. 5 years ago, we only have about 20 or 30 biotech companies, and today we have more than 160. So clearly it's something very exciting that draws people to come to Hong Kong and to come to Science Park to be doing biotech. So there are quite a bit of activities that goes on here in Science Park that contribute to this growth. First of all, Hong Kong has always been a financial center, has a very strong IP protection law, has a wonderful university that generates not just great ideas, but also talent, connectivity to these growing markets, whether it's Greater Bay or Southeast Asia. So we're taking advantage of all these fundamentals to grow biotech. So at Science Park, not only we have over the past few years built critical infrastructures to support these type of R&D activities, but also looking at different programs to support small, medium, or large companies to come to this part of the world and build their biotech dreams.
Yeah. I guess the Science Park is more than really providing core facilities or even providing funds, sort of really optimize the entire value chain. I guess, Professor, you have done a great job in linking up different stakeholders from scientists, clinicians, I guess venture capitalists, and so on and so forth. Well, among many initiatives, you are now the head of the Institute for Translation Research. Well, being translation is kind of crucial in linking up the entire value chain. Can you explain more on the initiatives you are leading and what's the reason or motive behind?
Yeah, thank you, Arthur. So we're very proud to announce the launch of the Institute for Translational Research, or ITR. So basically, when we were doing all these activities in Science Park, they were happening in very scattered, and forming this institute basically pull all the resources and all the knowledge base into one entity. So for entrepreneurs and companies, this represents a one-stop shopping for them, kind of an end-to-end service of the entire R&D value chain. So in addition to infrastructures, we have drug safety centers, core facilities, GMP production for ATPs, and so on and so forth. But we also have programs designed to support companies along the different parts of the journey. From the very early on, we have an IncuBio program that is a 4-year incubation program for biotech companies. It's more than just money and space. We provide a suite of services, connecting them to investors, making them understand the market demands, and how to pitch their idea in 30 seconds. So that is a very successful program. We're able to attract the likes of AstraZeneca and KingMed as our co-incubators to grow these companies. For companies that are SMEs that are at the growth the duration, we have different service programs. For example, we have a clinical translation catalyst program, that's CTC. It provides not only fundings, but regulatory strategy and clinical planning. for companies transitioning from that preclinical to that clinical stage. As we know, that is a very challenging phase for big and small companies. And to be able to successfully complete a phase 1 safety study will make the company eligible for Hong Kong Exchange Chapter 18A, that's the pre-revenue IPO. So a lot of companies are looking to kind of hit the milestones, and we have programs to support that. And for large, kind of a late-stage companies, we have different platforms. We have a MedTech co-create programs that encourage companies to collaborate. It's an open innovation platform where companies can leverage their expertise and kind of find new solutions to support the patient journey. And we also have a healthy aging platform. As you know, general tech in an aging society like Hong Kong and a lot of developed economies, including mainland China, aging-related issues is absolutely critical. And the Healthy Aging platform is really a platform that connects solution seekers such as NGOs, hospitals, with solution providers. These are some of the top part companies working on innovative solutions. So basically, ITR provide these end-to-end support and create opportunities to support biotech companies throughout their entire journey.
Wow, you must be very busy, Professor, right? Loads of initiatives.
I have a good team, that's why.
Yeah. And in fact, our Hong Kong Foundation touches upon general tech as well, and we were particularly interested in the conducting of clinical trials. In fact, we have been to the clinical trial center at HKU. I believe you have been in touch with their team, right?
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
so
right.
It's really about linking bench to bedside.
Correct.
As Professor you frequently say. In fact, Professor is also the chair professor of translational medical engineering, right?
Correct.
So he is a busy person. So can you share with us your translation experience and your research conduct, and how is it related to the translation process or experience you are sort of propelling here?
Yeah, a bit of my own personal journey. I think back in the days when I was just starting out in academia, translation wasn't, or commercialization wasn't the most important thing in my mind at the time, because I was focusing on basic research. But as we develop our understanding of fundamental biology, we were able to develop tools that can improve the healing process. And it got me thinking that wouldn't it be nice if some of these solutions can actually be applied to patients who need them. So I kind of stumbled on this translational journey, not realizing at the time how little I know about this translation process, everything from scale up to validation work, regulatory obviously, and all these things. So I know from an academic researcher's perspective what are some of the major challenges, and that's why ITR actually have all these support and services to help academics such as myself to do these translational work, so they don't need to figure everything out on their own. And I think in Hong Kong we have wonderful academics, some of which are very successful entrepreneurs. And I think they share that same passion that after so many years of doing fundamental research, they realize they have something really special that the patients are looking for. So we have a lot of successful academics setting up companies in Science Park and join our programs. So if you're academics thinking about how to make a lasting impact based on your research, please feel free to get in touch with me, and I think ITR is here to help you.
Yeah, thanks, Professor. Yeah. ITR is really a big thing recently. So as the policy address touches upon the development of biotech, I think it didn't come out of thin air, right? We both, I guess, Professor, you agree with me that there is a search of attention for biotech development, as probably we got more startups getting involved. What's your observation of that?
Yeah, you know, health and biotech is an industry that will never sunset. As long as there are people living, there will be a need for better healthcare, better solutions, better preventions, better treatments, better diagnostics. So I think in a nutshell, there's always this market need for better solutions. And I'm so glad to see that the city has made this one of its major priorities, not only to serve Hong Kong, but also the Greater Bay Area and of the region, because there's going to be a tremendous need for better healthcare going forward. And we're very proud that in Science Park, we've been working on this for many, many years, and that our success, our results have shown to be recognized. So we are looking forward to continuing contribute to this endeavor.
Well, but speaking in terms of facing the demand of the surge of healthcare services, do you think Hong Kong has the readiness and resilience to embrace the changes and develop its industry?
Yeah, there's this thing I was told called the Hong Kong spirit. That if you work hard, you believe in yourself, and you tackle worthwhile problems, and you will find a solution. So that Hong Kong spirit is very needed, very much needed in biotech, because biotech is difficult. And I think we call this the valley of death. Translating from basic science to a clinical solution is a very long journey, requires different kind of skill sets and different talents, highly risky, and we need that Hong Kong spirit to make it happen. So if Hong Kong cannot do it, I don't know where else.
Leveraging on the Hong Kong spirit, Professor, you were involved in the production of reports by our Hong Kong Foundation before, focusing on the biotech collaboration between Hong Kong and Shenzhen. And people say to really leverage on the readiness and resilience and optimize the supply chain to tap onto the market, the Greater Bay Area is the way out. Do you think so? And what do you think Hong Kong should do to tap onto the market?
Yeah. My understanding, from my perspective, biotech, it's such a large sandbox, and no single city, no single company, no single entity can do everything. ITR and Science Park, we're here to contribute, but certainly we cannot do everything. So finding the right partners, finding the right opportunity, and creating that possibility is definitely the way to go. And our Hong Kong Foundation, you guys did a fantastic report.
Thank you.
Looking at the Greater Bay, how to leverage different strengths coming together, whether it's talent, infrastructure, connectivity, fundraising. I think there's a lot that different parts of the Greater Bay can contribute. I think the challenge is how to coordinate all this assets, how do you coordinate all these strengths that you can provide a very simple to navigate platform for innovators to be successful. So your report is actually quite important.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We have the kind involvement of Professor as well earlier in July. And speaking of the Greater Bay Area, we believe the loop, the Lok Ma Chau loop, may be a way out for collaboration between Shenzhen and Hong Kong. And as you have said, may coordinate resources across the border. And among the many resources, we have talent, capital, other science resources, biomaterials, so on and so forth. And I noticed that, Professor, you published a report on talent development in the Greater Bay Area. Can you explain more on that?
Yeah, happy to. So the loop obviously is a very exciting development, and this is an area where we hope a lot of things can come together to leverage all the strength, not just Hong Kong, but Greater Bay, to really propel and realize this biotech dream. And one of the most important elements is obviously talent. And in your report, you definitely touched on that. And the Hong Kong Biomedical Technology Development Advisory Panel, I know it's a mouthful, but it's a group of people that we believe in that Hong Kong has a role to play in biotech. And we put together a report focusing on talent. And to us, talent is at the center of all these exciting activities. And we believe that there are concrete steps that the government can take, that university, the private sector can take, not just in Hong Kong, but in the Greater Bay Area, to really groom the talent that's needed to make biotech a very successful sector for the region.
Thank you, Professor. I guess this is a really special moment because Professor Cao has been really involved in our research process, and he himself published a brilliant report on talent development. So thank you, Professor. Thank you for having us here, and kudos to your great work.
Thank you so much, Arthur. And
Thank
it's
you.
such a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.